Hopefully you all will be enjoying this. And they're off. So I guess we should explain what's randomized first.
Yep, that's a good idea. So, Aria of Sorrow randomizes 3 different things. The drops off enemies, so both the items that they drop and the souls that Soma can collect. The items that are in Hammer's shop when you meet him, and the item locations around the castle. So, go ahead.
I was going to say, you also forgot one huge thing: the souls needed for to access the final boss.
Yeah, that is right. So one of the biggest goals in the original game is to collect the 3 ancient books that tell you what souls you need to unlock the castle's secret power. And with those souls, that'll put you on the path to the good ending where you can defeat Chaos. And in the vanilla game, those are Flame Demon, Giant Bat, and Succubus. But in this game, those have been randomized, and the books tell you what souls you need to get to the good ending.
That is correct. And within the randomizer, the good ending is what you want.
And otherwise, they're racing this with a lot of the same rules that you'd see in like a glitchless any % run of this game, so they won't be zipping into any walls today or doing any shop glitches. It looks like at the end of that underwater hallway there's a black belt, so pretty nice accessory piece of equipment, let them do a little more damage.
Which it looks like Pod decided to bail out on that one.
Yeah, it's alright. It's a pretty marginal damage upgrade, so it doesn't feel too bad to skip. Average time to complete one of these seeds is probably an hour and a half. It really depends if you see a soul called Black Panther, which is a damaging dash that lets you go really fast. They don't have it yet, so we're resigned to just walking around and throwing spears at Creaking Skull.
Ooh! Red Minotaur soul pickup for Pod.
Red Minotaur is really nice, and Arc Demon as well is a powerful combo. Arc Demon lets you recover MP when you get hit, but it's actually so good that just being hit once can refill your entire MP bar. So, especially in the late game, we're not going to have any issues with running out of MP. And there's Black Panther.
Ooh, Panther. Although since Pod picked up Red Minotaur off a random soul drop, he's got a bit of an advantage. Ooh!
Yeah, Kisharon just got it, so there's the equalizer. Yeah, they won't be able to use Red Minotaur yet, just because they are at such a low level that they don't even have enough MP to use it. But it'll become way more relevant in the late game. Red Minotaur just gives you this huge screen-filling axe that can do some serious damage to the bosses.
Now, there's several ways to get around the castle, and several different options for how you get through. Normally, for this first area, you'll either have the Winged Skeleton or Black Panther to get through here. Wait, or the double jump, if I recall.
Malphas, yeah. That room that Pod just went into at the top, usually in the vanilla game, you don't usually have what you need to get here, but there are some sneaky ways to get in, just with like gliding from the top of the stairs using flying armor. Flying armor, a glide soul that we haven't seen yet.
Nor have we seen the, God, I forget the name for it. I know Giant Bat gives us the ability to fly. I forget the one for the rocket jump thing.
Hippogriff, the high jump.
And you also have, what is it, Undine, and I forget the other ones that let you swim and dive respectively.
Yeah, Undyne lets you stand on water, and Skolla lets you swim and travel through water. So we are looking for Skolla because there is one pool of water toward the end of the game that you just can't get through without it. We're also looking for something that gives us flight, as Pod picks up Galamoth there that lets them go into a room with 2 items in it later.
It's basically frozen by time.
Yeah. But if you can see where time has stopped, that's no issue. So we are looking for something that grants flight, and those 2 things that May just mentioned, Giant Bat and Hippogriff, are those 2 options for that.
There's the double jump.
Yep, there's Malthus. Especially with the direction they're heading toward the chapel and the study areas, they now have everything they need to be able to at least look at all the items in here, which is pretty good. So we are going to be moving around here pretty fast.
Also, to give a fun fact, Galamoth is actually, a series staple that's actually supposed to be one of Dracula's, rivals.
Yep, in this game, though, just a soul. We're picking up some decent weapons here, but nothing too amazing. I think Kisharon just equipped the Gaybolg, which is a red lance type weapon. I think that's the best lance. So that's the best we've got so far.
Yeah, I know up until then he was actually just, I'm not sure on that one.
He was just using the knife that whole time.
Yes.
Here's Manicore, usually the second boss of the game. Falls very quickly because we've got way better weapons than you typically have here. And also some beef curry. One of the better healing items to see.
Ooh, Poison Fist.
Yeah, Poison Fist is pretty nice. Kisharon is going up this to the top of this room with the enemies in it. So there's actually something you can do. Once you defeat Manicore, if you stay in the room, there are no other enemies in the room, so you can get to the top of it just with the double jump and Black Panther. And at the top is the Gungnir Spears, lightning multi-hit spears. Pretty much endgame quality in terms of weapons, so we're very much good to go.
I don't think they have any good endgame armor yet, so...
Yeah, they're pretty fragile at the moment. It won't be a huge problem for heading to the end here.
Right now, I guess they're just true glass cannons.
Yep. With Skeleton Knight over here. So a lot of these soul torches that they've been picking up, we don't really know if they're useful yet, the red, blue, and gold ones that you're seeing. But they may be for when we find the books. They may be among the required souls. So it's good to pick up every one you see. Unless you know you absolutely don't need it and you've read the book already. Also, here's some pretty good sync.
Or you do like a few of our runners do and just go in with 2 books and assume that you probably have the 3rd soul.
Yeah, that's true. You don't actually have to read all the books. If you decide to make an educated guess based on what you've picked up during the seed, that can work too.
And the sync again.
Pushing this box doesn't get any faster with Black Panther, so you just kind of have to sit there.
And what's even funnier is if you actually can drop kick, you can technically drop kick into the box.
Ooh, I'll have to try that sometime. Nothing too exciting up this way. Silk Robe isn't very good armor, so they aren't even going to bother to equip it. Oh, there's The Cleave Soulish, right there. That's probably the best sword, Holy Elemental, just out of reach there because we have no way of sliding to get it.
Will they remember, and will they come back is the question.
Got some delicious rotten meat, though. So the room they're in right now, you usually need backdash to be able to get into, but they both did a jump and stuck out their weapon, and that just confuses the door into opening for you. You don't need backdash to get through there.
Very true.
Of course, the logic usually expects you to have it, though, so you can think about the requirements that way.
And pudding pickup. Now, one of the first early game objectives for a lot of us is to go find Hammer, who is not randomized, but it allows us to open up the shop.
Yeah, for some reason he decides to go very far away, though, so he's all the way back at the start of the game.
Oh hey, he's afraid of everything, despite being a military man.
I'm just more confused that he, couldn't sell you anything while you were standing right there.
Probably because he didn't have his supplies on him, but who knows.
So they've seen just about everything there is to see in the chapel and the study, and it's time to leave via this teleporter.
Kieran, moving back to the beginning part of the castle, which is where the first teleporter will always take you.
We're still slightly limited on where we can go. They can get into both the dance hall and the inner quarters, which are typically the game's third and fourth areas. And if they like, they can also sequence break into the floating garden. So they got some choices, and we get to see what they'll go with here. Taking a look at Hammer's shop.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that they had unlocked him.
Yeah, you just talk to him so fast and then skip the scene and he's gone.
Yep. Now let's see what he's got. Oh my god! They don't even need to go back for it.
Yeah, but buying the cleave from the shop is really expensive because it's 100,000 gold.
Yeah, but you could probably sell enough stuff to get to it.
And if they want, there's also the Muramasa, which is a decent short sword. You can do pretty well with double hit strats with it. Taking a peek at that item on the way up to the dance hall, I think that was just a hammer. There's both Hammer the Shopkeeper and Hammer weapons.
Very true.
Oh, it's Trident. Okay.
So at present, this has been more of a straightforward seed. No real things yet or divergences for either runner.
Well, there's book
and, ooh,
one.
First
So in the secret room, almost at the top of the dance hall, we have our first book. We'll get to take a look at it in a second, I bet.
Now, I will note that these are the standard, options for the randomizer. There are several, and you're all encouraged to try checking this out yourself. We even have some very easy beginner setups. Ooh, there's Undine.
Yep, so Undine gives us the more formal access to the floating gardens. Before, we didn't really have that, because what the game wants you to do is stand on the water and do a double jump, but you can skip the whole standing on the water thing. And now it seems like we might be supposed to be there.
Ooh, and Final Guard.
Yeah, but that's a pretty good pickup. Blue Soul can block some attacks for you.
To answer your question, chat, this seed is insane.
To answer another question, Chad, you never have to grind for the required souls. They're guaranteed to be in a torch somewhere in the castle.
Although you can sometimes get a progression soul from a boss here and there.
Yeah, there are some bosses that drop progression souls, largely so it's impossible to get soft locked in their areas. And Death also always drops a soul. There's that red torch right there that gives them both Killer Doll.
Nothing really good from the Flesh Golem. Sorry, Big Golem.
Yeah, please, that's his father's name. So unfortunately, because we still don't have Slide, they can't go across to the inner quarters via the little passageway between, so they actually have to warp out.
Or take the long walk back.
Yeah, I think Puddle-Like Boys just realized that. Skeletons give up the fish head soul. So if we needed another fire bullet source, there we go. Kisharon is going into the floating garden. Okay. So leaving behind the inner quarters for now. Puddle-Like Boys is gonna check. There's this one item at the end of this hallway here that they couldn't get before because it's just out of reach. And it's just a Warhammer.
So it looks like we have our first, divergence, would you say?
Yeah, it's something like that. Puddle-Like Boys is just going to check a one-off location, but we can see where they go from here. That might be a bigger change. Getting a tear of blood at the top of one of these rooms in the floating garden is a pretty good accessory as well.
I was just about to make a Bloody Tears joke.
And there's the Lubricant Soul, which is also a really good gold soul option. Makes you stronger as your health goes down. And Puddle-Like Boys is heading into the back of the inner quarters. So, yep. Official divergence.
I do know that one of the tasks for this game actually abuses the soul where, you're stronger with the lower health. Because they try to keep you at 1 HP.
Also, this might be big. Puddle-Like Boys found Skola in that bottom room there. So they can swim now, if they want. They have access to the entire underwater parts of the castle, and that's a lot of locations.
Do you want to explain the story while they're running around?
I can attempt to. So, we are here in future Japan in 2035 inside a lunar eclipse. Soma is attempting to unlock the secrets of the castle, and on his way in, he discovers that he can absorb souls. And he also meets some people around the castle who are more or less looking for the same thing. One of them is a guy named Graham Jones, and he eventually has this revelation where he thinks he's supposed to be Dracula. After no one's able to find Dracula, he thinks he's supposed to be the guy. So part of Soma's quest becomes going to Graham and proving that he, with a certain combination of souls, is the true Dracula. But then the game doesn't end there. It turns out that there is an entity of sorts called Chaos that is bad, and we need to go defeat Chaos.
It's basically the chaos in Soma's soul. By the way, basically found Carrie. Sorry, I'm not good with names.
Yeah, we're getting simultaneous boss fights here. Puddle-like Boys is fighting Headhunter, who has 3 forms, the last one of which is this lizard form. They can spit out that poison at you, can launch its tongue at you. This is easily like the most annoying of the Headhunter forms. And Kisharan is having a fight with Death, who likes to throw his scythe everywhere. He's already into phase 2, so he shouldn't have too bad of a fight. I think Death's attacks in this phase are pretty predictable. Yeah, okay, they're both done.
Was that Cockatrice Harrison?
It was, yeah. And there's the rare ring behind Death as well.
Rare ring allowing him to increase the item drop rate, if I recall.
Yep. And at the top of the Galamoth locked room here is the Hrunting, that poison sword that you just saw Puddle-like Boys equip, and the Succubus soul. So another gold soul, and we're still on the lookout for that book 3 to tell us what gold soul we need.
And book 2 as well, if I recall.
Yep, of course. But this is a pretty decent spot to be in for 21 minutes. We've got a lot of mobility. We can go places pretty fast.
It's the one nice thing about this randomizer. It's easy to pick up, it's easy to play, and it's a good Metroidvania style, randomizer. Unlike something like Super Metroid, where you basically want to know every little trick in the game.
So, there is one item outstanding up here where Puddle-like Boys is, which is if you cross back into the dance hall, there's an item in the ceiling. And they can't get to it right now, so they've just got to leave that for later. Looks like they might be trading areas as Kia Sharon is now going back through the inner quarters.
And apparently, chat's telling us that book 1 was bomber armor.
Bomber armor. With its astounding amount of destructive power.
And Kirsten just picked up his ability to... Wait, was that walk underwater, or was that, Undine? Again.
Yeah, that's Skull. It's walk underwater.
Ah, only caught the text briefly. Saw
Yeah,
water
so
and didn't get a chance to read it.
So they can go both swim if they want. It's just, the waterway is a pretty difficult area, so they might be putting it off due to its difficulty. Also because this starts to play mind games with you sometimes, and a lot of these early areas you'd probably be expecting other racers to have checked. So it feels bad if like something's here and you realize you could have gotten it like so much earlier. It's kind of looking like at this point we're going to have a lot of stuff underwater though.
Most likely, and since Kirsten has Curry, they can actually check the forbidden area.
Alright, I think we do have everything for that, yeah. So the forbidden area is one of the game's secret areas. It's behind a waterfall in the underground waterway, and it has like some of the highest requirements to even get into it. You need Undyne to be able to stand on the water outside. You need a Rush Soul, which is a blue soul that transforms you and has you rushing forward. And you can use that as an attack too. It's pretty well damaging. You need to combine those to be able to run through the waterfall. And there's only 2 items in the Forbidden Area, so it can be a little bit of a time sink to do, but it is technically available to us.
Well, technically there was also a... Is it a switch, or is it a... Basically, yeah, I think it's a switch or a cannon. Basically, it lets you actually get to the Forbidden Area from the other side, but by then you've already cleared out the Forbidden Area.
Yeah, because you have to go through it the regular way in order to hit that switch, actually.
Yeah, so I'm a fan of, like, suggesting that the switch already be thrown, but they'll probably decide that later.
Well, they also don't have slide either, so they wouldn't be able to get in that way.
To answer your question in chat, yes.
The items in the shop are randomized, yes.
Answer a question from Dev in chat. I'd say, what, Deep in the Arena or Forbidden Area if you don't have Eri for, basically Aria Sorrow's version of a pedestal seat? Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think it would be Forbidden Area because having, like, Skull likes doing Legion. Legion is a boss in this game in the Underground Cemetery, and he has a lot of health.
Nice thing about Odd is he actually could, you know, could actually go underwater in the clock tower because he has skeleton. I'm no good for pronouncing names again.
Yep, that is available. One issue with that, though, is, again, we have a slide-locked item that we can't get to in there.
Ooh! Harrison found another book. Sorry, not book. Another ability. So...
Yeah, that looked like giant worm to me, so... Getting a whole stack of gold soul. And some really good ones, too, so, like... Even if we don't get one that's, like, a requirement, a bunch of these are pretty good options just for fights in general.
Found axe armor on Kirsim's side.
Yep, this room in the Eastern Reservoir has 5 items in it. There's pretty much one off each corner of the room. There's the Eversing, so I think we're set on our armor needs. Don't have to buy anything.
Well, unless you find blocking mail.
Yeah, blocking mail would be a pretty nice pickup. That's a suit of armor that just deflects attacks sometimes. And there's a book. So we have Ancient Book 2 in the bottom right corner of the Eastern Reservoir. That'll tell us what blue soul we need to get on the path to the good ending.
Correct. Correct.
There's some chatter about the Basilisk soul, so I guess some people want to be mean today. The Basilisk soul pretty much swaps your attack and defense, so it can make that fight pretty annoying. The fight with Graham, I mean. Also, we finally found Slide. That's the Skeleton Blaze soul that you just saw Kirsharon pick up.
Now, here's a good question. Will they go back for the claim?
I don't know if I would at this point, because they've already got Gungnir, and that's almost good enough.
I'd say it depends on how close that is to a warp room, though I'm trying to remember where it is on the map.
Yeah, I think the bigger question is, do they have to go into Forbidden Area? Because if they do, they can go hit that switch and go claim their sword easily. Otherwise, don't think they'll go back for it, because the closest warp is all the way up in the chapel.
Don't you mean claim their solace?
Ugh.
Help myself.
Nightmare Soul is a pretty nice pickup. I think that's the Merman drop. So if you've ever wanted to throw horses at your enemies, Nightmare is a pretty good option. And zombies apparently drop Castle Map 3, so we can't avoid all the maps this seed. So now that they've both defeated Death, they have access to the entire shop manifest. The shop has 2 expansions. The first one happens after you defeat Headhunter, and the second one happens after you defeat Death. So now they're seeing everything that Hammer will have to offer for the entire game. There's some pretty good stuff in here. There's that everything that we've seen in the waterway. Puddle Like Boys is opting for Drax Tunic. Also pretty good.
Very true.
Peeking at a teleporter is enough to activate it, so that's why Kisharon went over there, just to take a look at that room. And it looks like we're gonna get to see Forbidden Area, because there's Curly and Undyne. Oh, they don't have quite enough magic. So just going to farm some hearts pretty quickly.
Very, very true.
And across the waterfall, we've got the Vijaya, the kind of sword equivalent of the Gungnir. It's a lightning sword. Not as powerful, but it is a pretty good weapon. It sells for a decent amount too, if they're looking to buy anything later. And that hammer that Puddle Like Boys just got a peek at is the tall hammer, also lightning. So I think we're near 100% on lightning weapons.
Also, Escape Boys also picked up his ability to slide.
And here we go. Here's the cleave.
Oh my god. There's his claim.
It is pretty close to the vanilla cleave room, all things considered. That's right here. That's usually where you find this. And it's high jump. So Hippogriff just lets you press L to send your head straight into the ceiling, and Soma's head makes a wonderful crashing sound.
Very true. So unless Puttersky Boys can find Bat, looks like Forbidden Area might actually be needed today. Well, will be, I should say.
Got Minotaur at the end of the Forbidden Area.
Here's picked up the Hippogriff, which will help with traversing the rest of the castle.
Yeah, at this point, they can go anywhere. The Hippogriff high jump was the last thing they needed to be able to get into the top floor, because as soon as you get into the top floor, you need to make a very high jump.
Now that was bad.
Sharon decides they do want the tall hammer. And there's bomber armor. So there's that red soul.
And chat, yes, we're trying to see about making an overlay for noting which souls are which, as far as the books go. Possibly.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna see right now, is the move into top floor. So, and this is a pretty good play too, because top floor has several items in it. You can just bank on everything else you need being here, and if not, there is a teleporter in the top floor, making it pretty convenient to get back as well.
Not just that, but I think we'll actually go for the random guess, because I believe he knows 2 of the books, right?
He's got books 1 and 2, and he's got a number of options for what that third soul could be. Also,
So
looks like... Yeah, it looks like we're opening up the way to Clock Tower over here. That's a path kind of close to where Death was. Not going to see a grand fight just yet, because there's 3 more items to check up here. Puddle-like Boys is also heading into the Forbidden Area, and might be up here shortly as well.
They'll be picking up their claim plus Hippogriff.
There you go, there's Kicker Skeleton. So now we can do some drop kicks.
Don't we still need the spirit for that one? Oh no, wait. Slide I think also gives it already, right?
Well, to do kicks, I think you just need double jump and kicker. So they're set on that.
Yes, I think you're right.
Those gray ability souls are always equipped, so you can just trust that they're on, and that's why neither of them had to go equip high jump to be able to use that. But you can turn them off if you like. There is a menu for that.
For those familiar with Castlevania Symphony of the Night, think of them like your relics.
Yeah, so it turns out what we needed is not in top floor, and Sharon is making the play back into Clock Tower to clear out the 2 underwater items left over here. And also maybe... saving? Yeah, okay, saving.
Now, neither of them have ventured into the arena yet, so there's always an option that what they need is in there.
Yeah, that's one of the places that they've got left. There's also the underground cemetery with Legion. But I can understand not wanting to go there, because those are both close to each other and not very quick to get through. And so just seeing the Ascalon at the end of that hallway, it's a nice sword, but we've already got some better weapons. Just resetting out, there's nothing here for us.
I do have to give a shout out to remember to, if you like what you see, remember to follow our runners, Puddle-like Boys and Garrison.
Okay, not Rubber Ducky Assassin. I'll get you his actual Twitch name. Well, it seems like they might have wound up with enough money anyway to buy the cleave instead of having to go pick it up. But that'll just let them both buy way better healing items.
Answer chat. Sorry, to answer a question in chat. Yeah, we haven't seen book 3 yet.
We did talk about the play of trying to guess the third soul before, and at this point, it's really just a time game. Do you think your time investment in going into some of these like slower and harder to check areas, do you think that's worth it against just heading up the tower and trying to fight Graham and guessing at Drexel? Because a failed Graham attempt can add up if you choose incorrectly.
Very, very true.
Looks like Podolak Boys is making the play over to Legion. They're in the underground cemetery.
This may be big.
And Kisharon will be there shortly as well.
I think they both are deciding it's not worth the Graham attempt. And I think that's the correct play. I know a few of our fellow, RFR runners do like to just take the guess on that one.
Something we haven't talked about, but you've seen a couple times, is that they use the sleep option in the menu. If walking out of a room would be too slow, otherwise, sleeping makes a quick save, and then you can reset and load up, and you'll be at the entrance point of where you enter the room. So that saves you backtracking a very long room. But with the cleave and Red Minotaur, which we can now use, this is going to be a very fast Legion fight, because Legion is very weak to the Holy Element, and Red Minotaur just does a lot of damage. Legion does drop a soul if you defeat all of his parts before the core.
And there's flying armor.
Yeah.
A little late.
Finally got flying armor. And there's book 3, so this was the play. This mixture of man and bull, that is Minotaur. So our souls today are Bomber Armor, Medusa Head, and Minotaur.
Pretty decent collection.
Yeah, and it also means we're not quite done, because neither of them has seen Medusa Head yet.
Very true. Arena, you think?
It's gotta be at this point.
Yep, Medusa Head. You know those things that float around that annoy every Castlevania runner?
We almost had the sync there for like 5 seconds again.
Yep. And welcome to the arena. Good. So I am wisely picking up that teleport portal.
It's just Rahab's sword at the end of that hallway. So, decent ice elemental sword, but still not what we're looking for.
And they still have the claim, so that outmatches that.
And it's almost the same as usual, because that's the vanilla Livitane item. Livitane being a pretty nice fire sword. There we go. Medusa Head was hiding behind the giant skeleton at the top of the arena. And that's definitely a room you don't want to have to walk back through if you can help it, because that skeleton takes up the whole place.
Very, very true. If you're enjoying this race or think you might want to try this randomizer out yourself, we have a Discord that will provide you with all the information. It's very easy to pick up and very fun.
Yeah, and I enjoy this game a lot.
To answer a question in chat, this is a good ending. That's always what the randomizer is for. Go through.
So we've got Go mode. It's time for the final boss rush. So we've done all that exploration, all that routing, to then get to the execution half of the run. The final 3 boss fights. So here's Graham. He's doing his best Dracula impression, shooting out some familiar fireballs that you might know from certain other Castlevania enemies. And this is his phase 2, where he just creates this circular pattern, and this is where you need the souls for the good ending equipped. And if you have those, then you'll get that little bit of text there with the, how did you come to possess those powers? And so that's the check for the good ending done right there. After that point, you can have whatever souls you want. And then Graham does this.
I know for me, I always thought you had to have them equipped during this part of the fight. So always let me go to the good ending, though.
Yeah, it's nice being able to, like, re-equip Black Panther and then not have to change it after the fight. And there's Dracula's tunic behind Graham.
Isn't that its vanilla location, or around there?
Something like that.
It's been years since I've actually played this game, vanilla, so pardon me if I forget a few locations. Again, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, please remember to follow our runners, Butterlike Boys and Kerasim. And if you're interested in trying this randomizer out yourself, I think someone can drop a link to the Discord or the randomizer itself, please.
Kisharon has switched over to Death Scythe, which they picked up earlier. It's a little underwhelming. It has a huge range, and it looks like it has a lot of attack power, but the issue with it is it's dark elemental, and a lot of enemies around the castle are pretty resistant to dark. But one who isn't is this guy, Julius Belmont.
One of the best Belmonts in the game. I shouldn't say in the game, but in the actual series.
So he acts a lot like your player character might in a different Castlevania game. He's got his whip in this form, and he doesn't move around very fast, but he hurts a lot. In this phase, so he's 2 phases, and in this one, every 4 hits he takes will stagger him. So he'll have a little bit of invulnerability and jump back and reset his attack pattern. So that makes him a little difficult to predict.
I will point this out, though. He is supposed to be, what, 55, I think, in this game?
He doesn't move like he's 55.
I know. He moves like he's that in the sequel. Here seems on phase 2.
Yep, that item crash marks the end of phase 1, and in this phase, Julius gets a whole bunch of sub-weapons. So you saw him toss that holy water already. He's also got an axe, a cross. There's that cross. You really only want to see the holy water because that just lands right in front of them.
Shoutouts to some very, good music for this boss fight.
Oh, absolutely. And behind Julius is the entryway to the Chaotic Realm. This is the final area of the game. It is kind of an amalgamation of places we've already been. So, familiar rooms all with this black and white filter over them. There are still item rooms off of the general path here, but we don't need anything else, so very likely we'll just see the runners run straight to Chaos.
Although they still might want to pick up a few more healing items, unless they think that they're covered with that.
I think they both might be good. We saw Sharon buy a whole bunch of healing items, including a whole stack of super potions. This is the one room that you still need a Skulla for. You just can't get through there without needing to swim a little bit.
What, going under the water up?
Yeah.
You technically can do it without, as long as you can get down enough to go through there.
I've seen people try to, like, kick through there before, and it hasn't really worked out.
I mean, once you're under the water, you can just basically float up, but...
You kind of need to get under the water in the first place. And here's the final save point. Seems like they're good with their loadout. Still have Arc Demon equipped, so it'll be pretty much infinite MP for this fight. Chaos also has 2 phases. This first one blocks away your red, blue, and gold souls. You still have all your ability souls, so you can still do things like double jump and slide around in this first phase if you want, but you can't use Red Minotaur, you can't dash around if you have Black Panther until you defeat that core and get your soul back. And so the red one will throw those diamonds at you, the blue one he's already defeated will try to dash at you, and that target right there steals your MP from the gold one.
It looks like Harrison's on the second phase. Now, the center orb in the orb in the center basically takes very little damage, you know, unless you destroy those 4 eyes, one in each corner. If each one gone, it takes more damage. And of course, gotta love the axe and... Ooh! But I like boys taking a death.
Oh boy. Well, it's a good thing the save for Julius is just so close by.
That is very, very true.
Alright, all the eyes are down. This form actually has a lot of attacks. Those little green orbs that you see floating around, those deal delayed damage and you can get comboed by them, but the fight is over.
Let's get those GGs in chat for Kirishim. You got the time up, the IRC up, and could give the official time?
Yeah, just give me 1 sec. Kia Sharon has finished in first place with an official time of 53 minutes and 19 seconds. GG. This seed was really fast.
Yes, it was.
You also get to see like how powerful Arc Demon was in that fight, because Red Minotaur eats a lot of your MP, but just taking 1 hit will refill your MP, so you can just throw axes forever.
Which is insanely useful. Oh. Do you know if we're going to try to get Kirishim in here for a winner's interview?
Yeah, we're going to take a look into that. In the meantime, we can rejoin Puddle Egg Boys fighting Julius on to phase 2 now.
I'm always happy to actually see this randomizer get love.
So the reason you can't really use the cleave for this fight is because Julius is very resistant to the holy element. You can give it a try, but you won't deal that much damage to him.
He's a Belmont. They're holy warriors.
And finishing Julius off just in time. Puddle Boys cutting it a little close there with just 65 HP. Couldn't take another hit. I don't think they could even take a Julius slide at that point.
Puddle Boys has entered the chaotic realm.
There are certain souls that make this run through the chaotic realm a little faster. Like if they picked up Iron Golem at any point, that essentially removes the knockback that you would get from taking damage and just lets you run straight through enemies almost risk-free.
Very, very true. And Puddle Boys is almost to their final save point and their cast fight.
I don't think we're gonna have Kid Sharon in for an interview, but they are in Twitch chat. Their Twitch name is Isobe Tsuyoshi. That's who you should follow.
And I should say GG and congrats to him, to them as well.
Uh-oh. Getting comboed by these succubi. Alright, we made it through that room. That can be a pretty tough room to get through because the Demon Lord can just follow you down. You can get stopped up in a lot of places.
And Puddle Boys has entered their chaos fight.
Yeah, there's the blue soul in action, that dash move right there. That's what deals the most damage in this phase. But Chaos in this phase also has no defense, so that's why these numbers on the screen are so big.
Well, that and they're also wielding a holy sword against a, what's it called, a demonic lord or what?
Yeah, we could go with that.
And Puddle Boys has done his first phase.
Doesn't have too many healing items, but probably has enough to be able to take this down. Yeah, the cleave also lets you do this nice jump attack right here and hit both of the eyes on one side at the same time. This has been a pretty good showcase of some of the most powerful stuff you can do in this game.
Very true. Although it's even more broken with, what is it? With the luck fix patch on?
Yeah, there are a couple different stat fix patches, and the ones that modify the intelligence and luck stats can cause you to do even more damage here.
Not to mention the MP regain fix of it doing it healing more than, what, 1 to 2 ticks per?
Yeah, it gets a lot faster with that. The damage scaling for bullet souls, the red ones, is based on your strength, and for the blue souls, it's based on your intelligence. So that's why the intelligence fix would matter.
Yeah, because it changes that to the red souls. Oh, and GG for Puddle Boys.
Yep, there's those cracks in Chaos's core.
But yeah, the int fix basically makes it so that the scaling for bullet souls also is on int.
And Puddle Boys has finished in second place with a time of 1 hour, 0 minutes, and 27 seconds. GG.
Yep, GG. You want to see if we could pull Puddle Boys in here for an interview?
Yep, let's see.
Remember, everybody, if you're enjoying what you see as far as the Ivysaur randomizer goes, please check out our Discord and check this randomizer out yourself. It's a very, very, very insanely good randomizer.
Yep, Dev's got the Discord link there in chat.
And if you're worried about not knowing where to go or all that stuff, we even have some beginner-friendly, actual, flags for everybody on that one. Gives you a peeping eye, shows the entire map. It's very, very easy to pick up and learn. So I guess Public Voice is not going to be able to join us for an interview.
I'm gonna give it a second. I just sent them the link again.
Okay. Just gotta ask.
Because they want to, but... There we go.
GG to you.
Good.
You're quiet, but I heard you.
Okay, yeah, Julius is just interesting every time.
But you got
Yeah.
more time to enjoy the music.
Yeah. It's just, I had him so close on the first one, I just thought I should save my heals, but then I forgot Claim Solus exists for Chaos. It just doesn't.
Yeah, what did you think when you saw both the claim in the shop and on the ground?
I don't think I've ever seen that before. But it was nice. I didn't use the shop for it because I don't think I even had enough money to do that. But it was still good.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to see. Kyosharon actually did get enough money to buy it, but they picked it up the same way you did, so they actually just dumped their money into a bunch of healing items.
Mm.
But yeah, this was super fast.
Yeah.
Even with having to go to the arena.
Mhm.
So I think that's pretty much the story, right? It was just like Julius, like he's a pretty tough customer.
Yeah, even though I even had one of the best weapons to fight him. I'm just not used to fighting Julius that often.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those fights that, it's really hard to practice.
I mean, I wouldn't call it like a super ideal situation because Death Scythe is kind of slow.
Yeah, but you can backdash cancel out of it easily. That's the thing. The weirdest thing is I found the best weapon to fight Julius with is the silver gun. It's really weird because you can fire really fast with it, and it actually kills him decently.
Absolutely. You seem to be a little quiet, though, by the way.
Sorry.
So, what did you think of where the souls were as far as the books went, and as far as just the ability souls?
I thought getting all Lubricant, Red Minotaur, and Archdemon was very nice. But I hated how far away the which soul was. I think it was the Medusa head soul.
Yeah,
that was the one in the.
Yeah.
Oh, it was almost too good to be true too, because the gold soul you needed was just Minotaur. It was none of the super good ones.
Yeah.
So something interesting that happened that closed the time gap a little bit was Kyosharan backtracked into Clock Tower to go pick up the 2 underwater items, and those didn't end up being anything really. So yeah, that kept things close for a good bit.
Oh, so he went to Clock Tower before he went to the other area, the up areas?
Yeah, and then went back later on a second pass, being able to go under the water.
That's not to mention the fact that you both had Red Minotaur very early in the game.
It's really nice when it drops from Bat, because even if you don't want whatever Bat drops, you will get it.
Yeah, that's one of the places where I really like that like soul copies stack. So you could just get 9 copies of Red Minotaur. And then trade them with your friends.
Of course.
Alright, well, I think we're winding down here, so thank you for racing. Thanks to Kisharon as well, who I think has been hanging out in the chat. You guys put on a great show. To everyone watching, thanks for coming out to see us. This game's really fun. I hope this was a pretty good showcase of it for you, and you'd like to give it a try.
Yes, definitely do try this out. It's been insane.
So yeah, oh, go ahead.
Nah, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, on behalf of Magus One and Kisharon and Podolak Boys and everybody at Speed Gaming, thanks for watching.
Thank you all for watching. As Smile said, as I said, if you do like this or would like to check it out yourself, please check out our Discord. We're still one of the smaller randomizer communities, but as you've seen, the randomizer is very fun, and all of us are willing to help you learn. So, do try and check us out.
Yep, there's the link for the Castlevania Randomizers Discord one last time, and have a good night.
Bye all.
But